Good morning. It's Friday, September 1st. And yesterday we had a major disaster when I posted my video. Apparently, and I have no reason to suspect or any foul play, but for some reason the video was totally black in the cartooning portion, even though there was some cartoons up front that showed. And I got some information right away from some of my loyal followers, and I took it down and replaced it without the front-loaded cartoons, and it worked fine. I have no idea how that happened, but I have to attribute it to the fact that my computer was blocked, and then when it was reset, a lot of information was left off, and I replaced a lot of stuff, and I'm still replacing things. So I'm hoping that whatever I put out there today is visible without a blackout. And for those of you who didn't get on early in the morning, you would have no idea that there was a blackout. But you would have received 2 different emails, and I hope that you picked the right one to try and watch the video. So that's yesterday's news, and today I want to talk about a couple of things. The first thing deals with cannabis. The senior official at the Department of Health and Human Services has called for the easing of restrictions on marijuana by reclassifying it as a Schedule III substance. Right now it's scheduled as a Schedule I substance, which is the highest level that a drug can be put into. That makes it a dangerous drug. Now, I never smoked cannabis, and I only was drunk once in my life, and then I gave up drinking after that because it was a terrible experience. So I'm not an alcoholic, and I'm not a drug user or a smoker. I never smoked any of those things. I did smoke cigarettes for about 9 months, and that was awful. And I see no reason why cannabis should be released from whatever the highest level of the drug classifications are. But meanwhile, they're going to waste time and interview and initiate a review of the drug. And I'm really against it. Drugs are dangerous things, and I don't care whether they tell you anything they want about cannabis and it makes you feel good, or whatever else it does. I do not believe in taking these foreign substances into your body. And I'm willing to bet you that if you look around, you will see a lot of incidents that are based upon the fact that people overdosed on something. It could be alcohol, it could be marijuana, it could be something that they consider more serious, like heroin or something. But in any event, I see no reason why we should lower the level of watchfulness on this particular drug. It's bad enough that we have these stores open and it's open to the public and anybody can go in and buy cannabis or whatever they want. And I think that's a big mistake. I don't know how many people die in car accidents from the drugs, but we know there's plenty of drunk drivers out there. So maybe we ought to consider putting alcohol in one of these classifications. Maybe Schedule 1 would be good for alcohol too. So I don't know what the DEA is going to do, and I don't know what they're going to say, but they have the final authority. And I am hoping that they do not change the classification of marijuana. And now I want to talk about age, and I want to talk about age with respect to our public servants. People like Mitch McConnell and Dianne Feinstein, and many of the other elderlies that inhabit the halls of Congress and the Senate, and who should have retired years and years ago. Now, I worked well past my retirement age also. I did not retire fully till I was 73, and I'm relatively healthy, and I'm much older than that because I've been retired for a long time now. And I see no reason why Mitch McConnell should stay on the job when he keeps fainting and things happen to him and he freezes momentarily in the middle of some episode. Because those are not good signs, and he hasn't seen a doctor yet, according to what I'm reading here. And Feinstein was out of office for a long time, and she comes back on a wheelchair, and she's working, and she's 90 years old, and it's time for her to give up the ghost. And there's plenty of other ones who are in their 70s and 80s, and maybe they're still sharp, but it's time to give the young people a chance. And that's probably one of the biggest problems we have in our government right now. The age of our senators and congressmen, and let's not only refer to those people. Let's talk about Joe Biden, who's the oldest president, and the contender who's running against Biden is not a very young man either. He's in his late 70s. So we need to do something that forces these people out of office when they are well past their peak. Because I don't care how sharp they are, they're definitely not as sharp as somebody who's 20 or 30 years younger than they are. I'm not saying they don't know what they're doing, and I'm not saying they're not healthy enough to do the job. But I'm saying that they've been in that seat for too long, and this country really hasn't progressed that greatly with them in their seats for the last couple of years. So I think it's time for the elderly population in the Senate and in Congress and in the presidential candidates realm to get themselves a little bit younger, to find younger people who are willing to take on those responsibilities. And maybe there should be limits. Maybe there should be limits on some of these jobs. I know that they have terms, but that doesn't mean that they have a limit. So you can run 5 times, you can run 8 times, and congressmen run every 2 years. So as soon as they're elected, they're back on the campaign trail. That has to change for the good of the country. And this will be the last thing I talk about. I don't know what we're going to do about the weather conditions that we're facing around this world. On Wednesday, we had a pretty heavy rainstorm, but it's nothing compared to what's going on around this country. In Florida, they had 15 inches of rain and 15 feet of water in places where they never had that happen before. And they called that Idalia. That was the name of this hurricane. But the ocean temperatures are warming, and we, as a society, haven't done anything about global warming. And we haven't gotten our act together with respect to gasoline emissions and all of those things. And everybody talks about getting things straightened out in 15 or 20 years. Well, I don't think we can really wait that long because Mother Nature has gone crazy in the last couple of weeks. And I don't see any lessening of that. And when you hear that there are temperatures in the ocean that hit 100 degrees in some places, that's insanity. Because there's no fish, there's no mollusks, there's none of those little snails and things that can live in degrees of 100 in the water. So we have a major problem here that we have to solve, and I don't know that we're equipped to solve it. Certainly not our generation. So I'll leave you with that this morning. Have a great day. Bye.